What's good? It's your boy, the urban legend, K to the Bird, KGUSA representative all day in the building. And today, we're going to be talking about some more facts, not fiction. Straight facts. And I'm going to talk to y'all about how I linked with the legendary 3-6 Mafia member and Memphis legend, hip-hop icon, Crunchy Black. How I linked with him and how we got together and how we made a relationship off music and pretty much being two real dudes, two real dark-skinned dudes out here grinding on our goals, man. We're going to get into it. Crunchy Black. Alright, Crunchy Black, man. If y'all don't know who Crunchy Black is, y'all probably been living under a rock for the last 10, 20, 30 years. Crunchy Black is a member of the 3-6 Mafia, man. 3-6 Mafia, legendary hip-hop group in the South, multi-platinum group, major platinum plaques they brought back to the projects in Memphis. Their first album they put out, man, was Mystic Styles. Mystic Styles. That was the first album they dropped. You know what I mean? It was gothic, but it had that, you know what I mean? It had that gruttiness to it, that South. It was something different about their beats, you know what I mean? It was like they took the samples and they put some soul in it, and they also took some damn horror film movies and put them samples in the shit and put some soul and some beats to that shit, man. And that shit is a classic. And the second album they dropped after that, man, The World Domination. And that's when Crunchy Black pretty much started to shine his most, you know what I mean? He was on the track, Tear the Cub Up, Tear the Cub Up. He did the chorus, and he had not the last verse, the second to last verse, but his verse was killer, man. He set it off on that song, man. He was like, get buck, get wild, we tearing the cub right now. You know what I mean? It was that certain South style back then at that time, you know what I mean? That shit been jumping. And that shit was like, you know, when they first crossed over and probably hit a platinum plaque, you know what I mean? But anyway, you know, they kept on doing what they was doing, you know what I mean? Crunchy Black been known for being on songs like Tongue Ring, you know what I mean, off another 3-6 Mafia album, which that one went platinum. Also being on the song Pop My Collar, you know what I mean, the one they won a Grammy for is Hard Out Here for a Pimp. He was on that shit too, you know what I mean? He just known as being a legendary artist contributing to the group, and he always had this dance called the Crunchy Walk, you know what I mean? He would do the Crunchy Walk. When he do the Crunchy Walk, niggas already know it's about to get turned, man. And Crunchy used to be going hard on the stage with that Crunchy Walk. And that's a big thing in Memphis, you know what I mean? He started that wave. It started from the gangster walking, you know what I mean, with Gangsta Pat, you know what I mean, other people from Memphis, but Crunchy them took it to the mainstream level, I would say, with the way he was doing the dancing and changing up the style with it and creating that swag. So after all the success of being a major group, man, getting that major love, like all major groups eventually do, they kind of broke up for a little while. Everybody went their separate ways. You know, Juicy J went on his solo way, Paul went and did his solo thing, and Crunchy went and did his solo thing too, dropping his first solo album, you know what I mean? And that shit was hard, you know what I mean? If you haven't heard it, you should look it up, man. That Crunchy Black first solo album, it got some bangers on that shit, real talk. So after a while, since they all been doing the independent thing, you know what I mean, Crunchy Black and Project Pat started a company together called Money Train Empire. You know what I mean, Money Train Empire. And then with that company, Crunchy Black branched off itself and started hard-hitting Money Gang. You know what I mean? And with that company, he been doing this thing, building up artists, you know what I mean, working with independent artists, working with studio recording people, you know what I mean? I think he built the studio out there in Chicago, out there in Imperial, currently living at right now, you know what I mean? He was living in Vegas for a while, and as you know, man, Crunchy had got shot up in Vegas, you know what I mean? And if you don't know, you should look that up and see the information on that, but yeah, Crunchy was damn, got caught up in a bad situation, man. And then he got shot a couple times, man. One of the bullets went through his face and shit, you know what I mean? But that nigga still, even with being shot in the face, that nigga still did an interview and the nigga still was recording. Like right after that shit happened, bro, the nigga just kept on going, kept on pushing, you know what I mean, on his grind, being a solo artist doing his thing, you know what I mean? And then he just stayed on his grind, man, with his business partners that he had at the time, Leland, you know what I mean? They've been working together, building their shit, keeping their business right. And me, man, I was talking to Crunchy like when he was still locked down for the last bit he was doing. I was already talking to Project Pat, Project Pat, gotta salute him, the big dog, you know what I mean, based off the relationship I had built with Project Pat, you know what I mean, I was already talking to Crunchy when he was still locked down, let him know, like, man, whenever you get down, I mean, whenever you get free out that bullshit, you know what I mean, you see I'm working with Pat, you see how I'm doing, as soon as you come home, man, I'll be ready to work with you, bro, because you always been somebody I felt that had that star appeal, you know what I mean? That Southern star appeal. So I was like, yo, we gotta work together, you know what I'm saying? We gotta do some shit together. So immediately when that nigga got home, man, me and him worked on a trap called Trap Boy Fresh. Trap Boy Fresh is the first shit we worked on together, you know what I mean? And if you don't know about the original song, because we doing like a rendition of the song that DJ Paul did before, you know what I mean? And it was like a remake of that, you know what I mean? And we just paying homage to that record, paying homage to that time, and then throwing Crunchy on it with a new producer, you know what I mean? I got the beat from YK808 Mafia, you know what I'm saying? And we just put it together, man. Shit was a banger, you know what I mean? I got my homie from Colorado, Black Static Blue Flame, to jump on it. He brought some of that new school flavor to it, you know what I mean? And that shit came out good, man. That shit did good streams-wise, and that shit came out good quality-wise. And after that, man, we just kept on building, we just kept on building. We dropped something on my album right after that, my solo album called Bird Marley, you know what I mean? We dropped a song called 10s and 20s, which got a lot of streams, a lot of spins, a lot of local support, a lot of little radio stations jumped on it, you know what I mean? It was a good song, you know what I mean? It was working good on the market. And if you haven't heard that, you need to check that out, man. That Bird Marley album is a classic, man. That's that Bird Marley Volume 1. It's a motherfucking classic. And after that, man, we just kept on doing more shit, you know what I mean? I did a song with him called All Day. That shit came out on the Bird Print album, and that shit was banging. So I was like, man, me and Crunchy always working together. So I said, man, let's just lock in and do a whole album together, big dog. And he was like, man, Crunchy wild. He got a wild personality, man. I love Crunchy personality. He be saying the most craziest shit, bro. I love that nigga personality. And when I told him, yo, let's do it, man, that nigga was like, yo, we need to do it, for sure. Because then he told me, like, he was at the radio station, right? And we had dropped a record called Jumpin' too. I never put it on an album. It was just a single. But it eventually came out on our collaboration album. But the song was Jumpin', and he said that he went and did a radio interview somewhere out there in Chicago, and then he did one in LA, and he was like, both times they brought up that record that I did with you, man, the radio station was playing that shit, you know what I mean, giving that shit respect, and he was like, you need to get up there and go to their page, man, and record that shit and post that shit on your YouTube page, because they shouting you out pretty much with how much they feel in this record, you know what I mean, they want us to do an album together too. So I was like, shit, man, we need to go ahead and do that, man. We need to go ahead and work on this album, knock this shit out. People actually asking you about it at the radio station, people wanting to hear it. We need to do this album together, man. So we locked in. We already had like 3 tracks already done. So we just locked in and knocked out a quick 7 tracks. You know what I mean? We did it like in a month. In a month time, man, we dropped that shit, yo, and that shit was a classic. And that album is called We Outside. We Outside, K-Bird, Crunchy Black, you know what I mean? 10 fucking tracks, you know what I mean? The shit is hard, you know what I mean? Some tracks, Crunchy giving me a whole raw verse, and then some tracks, he just backing me up with the good hype man type shit, and he gonna drop a couple bars in it too. So it remind me of like, on some East Coast shit, But this ain't like that East Coast sounding type album. It's like if when Raekwon and Ghost did that Cuban Links, you know what I mean? Even though it was Raekwon's album, Ghostface was co-starring in that shit, you know what I mean? And that's how this We Outside is. It's K-Bird and Crunchy Black, you know what I mean? And that shit hard, you know what I mean? Every track, Crunchy on there giving that good energy, bringing that shit that I like to hear. And you know what I mean? I think I got the best material out of him in years, man. I think that album is some of the best music he made since like 3 6 Mafia, and that's on God. So go check out them tracks, man, and see what you think, man. All them shit's banging, and I promise you ain't gonna be disappointed. And go check out, you know what I mean, anything that Crunchy Black into right now. I see he got a new Vlad video going on right now, and that's still the homie, you know what I mean? We still chop it up. We still working right now, you know what I mean? I just ain't dropped none of the music yet, but we still definitely always working, man. Crunchy Black is a real homie, man. He always be making jokes about us being the two darkest niggas in the game, you know what I mean? Us being the two dark-skinned niggas, so we gotta look out for each other, man. We gotta look out for the dark-skinned brother. So I fuck with him, you know. And the first time I met Project Pat, he used to tell me, like, you remind me of Crunchy, but you more calm, laid back, and you got a different accent. But he was like, man, you remind me of Crunchy, that dark-skinned dude that's always in the cut, you know what I mean? That might snap, but gonna play it cool, you know what I mean? So shout out to Crunchy for fucking with your boy K-Bird. We've been fucking with each other for years, about 5, 6 years now, working, doing what we doing, man. And I know y'all saw that Crunchy, them boys did the verses, and they killed it with Bone Thugs and Harmony and shit, you know what I mean, a while back. And Crunchy still be grinding, dropping interviews with Vlad, Cam Capone, you know what I mean? He a real G, and he always stay about his bread, and I respect that, you know what I mean? I respect that. So go check out that. Go check out what's new and pay attention, man, because we always come with some more shit. Go check out the new album, The Bird Marley Volume 3. And you know what I mean? That's it for the night, man. That's all I wanted to come chop it up with y'all real quick. Give y'all some facts, not fiction, by my big dog, Crunchy Black. I'll get with y'all in the next one.